The wife's secret. His name was Daniel. He was 38 years old and he had been married for 8 years. His wife's name was Laura. She was 34. He used to think their life was simple. Not perfect, but steady in a quiet way that made him feel safe. They didn't argue much. They didn't live loudly. Their life moved slowly, like it had its own rhythm. On Sundays, they made coffee together and sat near the window. Sometimes they talked about small things. Sometimes they just sat in silence. And that silence never felt empty. It felt comfortable. They did not have children. They tried for some time, visited doctors, followed routines, hoped quietly, and then slowly, without saying it out loud, they stopped trying. They told themselves they were okay, and he believed that. He believed they had accepted it. Laura was a calm person. She didn't share everything, but he never thought that was a problem. Everyone needs a little space, right? Once or twice a month, she would go out alone for a full day. She said she needed time to clear her mind. He respected that. He never asked too many questions. When you trust someone, you don't feel the need to check every detail. You just believe. Looking back now, he realized how easy it is to believe when nothing feels wrong. One afternoon, he was cleaning the living room while Laura was in the shower. Her bag was on the chair, slightly open. When he tried to move it, it slipped and fell, and a few paper came out. He bent down to pick them up without thinking. That's when he saw it, a folded sheet, slightly crumpled. He opened it absent-mindedly, expecting a bill or a receipt. But it was a drawing, a child's drawing. Simple lines, a small house, a sun in the corner, and 3 stick figures holding hands. It was the kind of drawing you see on a fridge in a family home. He almost smiled until he noticed the words written at the bottom in uneven handwriting. Love you, Mom, Vister. He didn't remember putting the other papers down. He didn't remember breathing properly. He just sat there on the floor, staring at that one line again and again. Love you, Mom. They didn't have children. His mind started trying to fix it, trying to make it something small, something normal. Maybe it was from a friend's kid. Maybe she helped somewhere, volunteered at a school. Maybe he was just thinking too much. He folded the paper slowly and placed it back inside her bag exactly how it was. He told himself to forget it, but some things don't leave your mind once they enter. They stay there, quiet, waiting. Over the next few days, he started noticing things he had never paid attention to before. Laura became more careful with her phone. She would turn it slightly away when texting. She started stepping into another room to take calls. The days she went out alone. He began to notice a pattern. It wasn't random. It was almost planned. Same days, same quiet preparation, same calm explanation. And suddenly that calmness didn't feel peaceful anymore. It felt controlled. A week later, she told him she would be out again on Friday. He nodded like always, but something inside him had already changed. That day, he couldn't focus on anything. He kept thinking about that drawing, about the word mom. Around the afternoon, he made a decision he didn't think he was capable of making. He followed her, not closely, not like in movies, just enough to know where she was going. She stopped near a small park. He stayed at a distance, his heart beating louder than it should. And then he saw her. Laura was sitting on a bench. Next to her, a little boy, maybe 8 years old. They were talking, laughing softly. She fixed his hair the way she sometimes fixed his. Then he leaned closer and hugged her, and he heard it, clear enough to remove every doubt he had been holding on to. Mom. Everything inside him went silent. He didn't feel anger in that moment. He didn't feel anything strong, just empty. Like something had quietly broken and he didn't even hear the sound. He stood there for a few minutes, maybe longer, just watching, not trying to understand anymore, just seeing what was real. That night he didn't confront her immediately. They had dinner. She spoke normally. He nodded, answered, smiled where he had to. It felt strange, acting normal when everything inside him had shifted. Later, when the house became quiet and there was nowhere left to hide, he finally asked, "Who is Vister?" Laura froze, not dramatically. Just a small pause, but it was enough. She looked at him, and he could see it in her eyes. She knew he knew. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. He just asked again, softly, "Who is he?" She sat down slowly, like her legs couldn't hold her anymore. For a moment, she didn't speak. Then her voice came out, low and shaky. She told him everything. Before she met him, she had a relationship. It was serious. She got pregnant. But things didn't work out. There was pressure, fear, confusion. And in the end, the child stayed with his father, with San Francisco. That was his name. She said she thought she had moved on, thought she had closed that chapter. Then she met him, and she was scared. Scared that if he knew, he wouldn't stay. So she said nothing. And once the silence started, it became harder to break it. He listened. He didn't interrupt. He didn't shout. That surprised even him. After 8 years of marriage, he expected anger to come out easily. But it didn't. What he felt was heavier than anger. "You lied to me," he said quietly. "Not once. For years." She looked down and said, "I was afraid of losing you." And that was the moment something became clear. It wasn't just the secret that hurt, it was the fact that she didn't trust him enough to tell the truth. The days after that were quiet. Not peaceful quiet, but distant quiet. They spoke less, sat in different rooms, moved around each other like strangers who knew too much. He kept thinking about that boy, about how natural it looked when he called her mom. There was no lie in that moment. That part was real, and that made everything more complicated. He realized something slowly. This wasn't a simple story of right and wrong. She didn't hide the truth because she didn't care. She hid it because she was afraid. But fear doesn't justify silence, and love cannot grow where honesty is missing. In the end, they didn't have a dramatic goodbye. No shouting, no final scene. Just a quiet understanding that something important had broken, and they didn't know how to fix it anymore. Some things don't end with anger, they end with acceptance. He still thought about her sometimes, not with hate, just with a kind of distance. He didn't miss her the way he thought he would. He thought he missed the version of her he believed in. The version that was simple, honest, complete. But that version never really existed. Because the truth is, secrets don't destroy relationships in one moment. They do it slowly, quietly, over time. And by the time you finally see it clearly, it's already too late to go back to what you thought was real. The end.